Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Transforming the Digital Supply Chain with SAP Business One and WMS. First, I'd like to start by saying thank you to everyone for taking some time out of your day to join us. My name is Tiffany, and I'm the go-to-market strategy leader here at Silver Touch. Over the next 60 minutes or so, you're going to hear about how SAP Business One and WMS services from Silver Touch has helped numerous other clients of ours improve visibility, streamline their warehouse operations, and make faster supply chain decisions. I'll be kicking things off today by giving you just a quick background overview on who we are and what we do. And then I'll be handing the mic over to Pratik, our SAP expert, who will be leading the demonstration today. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please drop them into the chat. We'll do our best to save some time at the end for a Q&A. If we do end up running short on time, we'll reach out to you directly to answer your questions. And at the end of the presentation, we'll also put up a slide with our information so you can contact us directly yourselves if you have any questions or needs moving forward. So let's get started. Who are we here at Silver Touch? We are a global digital transformation leader. We've been in the IT industry for over 30 years. We now have more than 1,400 qualified IT professionals on staff, more than 4,000 successful projects completed, and 125 plus of those being SAP Business One implementations. We also have over 100 RPA consultants and experts in-house. Next slide, please. What can we do for your business and kind of what else do we do here at Silver Touch? First of all, we are a digital transformation leader. So we can do anything that can help you increase efficiencies within your organization, by automating your manual processes, help you leverage real-time data, improving visibility and streamlining warehouse operations, can also help you with making faster supply chain decisions. We also offer cloud solutions. So definitely post-pandemic, a lot of people have moved to a remote work environment. So if you're looking at public cloud, private cloud, anything related to those services, cloud management wise, we can help you with that. Kind of the same thing with your modern workplace services. So if you need IT consulting, help with call centers, we have experts for all of those areas as well. ERP solutions, I won't spend too much time on that one because we're going to deep dive into that, but we are premier partners for SAP and Odoo ERP services. Enterprise software services. So as you can see, AWS, Azure Cloud Development, all of those things. We have experts for every bit of that as well. And your managed security services. So we all know security is a big deal these days. So anything from security needs or awareness training, we can also help you in those areas. Next slide, please. So you can see here, this is our partner ecosystem. So SAP, of course, Odoo, our own Silver Cloud, AWS. So some very recognizable names that we partner with here in our ecosystem. Next slide. We are a global company, so we do have a footprint across the globe. Our headquarters is in India, where we have multiple offices. And then we also have offices in the UK, Canada, and then here in the US. So globally, we've got you covered. Next slide, please. As you can see here, the 2024 SAP Partner Summit, we were recognized for our achievements in work with SAP with the Rookie of the Year award. So just goes to speak to our commitment and expertise from our SAP folks. Next slide. So this slide here just gives you a look at some of our clientele globally. Of course, if you're here in the US, everybody knows Scrub Daddy. I'm sure it's kind of a household name. Icon Parking is also here in the US, but you can just take a look here. Very recognizable names that we have been able to work with. Next slide, please. This just continues, just kind of showing how we've expanded and some of our partners that have trusted us to help them. Industries served. So distribution, supply chain, machinery and components, logistics, wholesale. I don't need to read through them all for you, but just kind of shows you that we have experts and expertise in a lot of verticals. So no matter what your business is, your vertical, we have experts and projects in just about any industry you can imagine. Yeah, so that concludes my portion. So I'm going to hand this over to Pratik, and he will lead you through the rest of the presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tiffany. Thank you very much for the introduction. And the voice you will hear for the next 45 minutes or so is Pratik Odhavia. I work as a functional architect with Silver Touch. And I've been given a task to do this solution demonstration for all of you. But before we get into the solution presentation, I really wanted to share our experiences and some of the best practices while dealing with some of the manufacturing industry or trading and distribution industry. Now, when we interact with all our customers, we always come across, some of the challenges and some of the key challenges which I listed it down here to start with. Let's talk about, some of the key challenges or some of the issues they come across while they manage their supply chain. The very first one on top of the list here is the unpredictable demand. Now, there has been a sudden shift in terms of how consumer behave with their buying pattern. Nowadays they have a lot of different ways or sources from where they buy those items, including e-commerce portal or maybe different medium or online or social media. There has been a lot of changes in terms of the global event and disruptions, an event like pandemic or maybe a Russian-Ukraine war, which can have a massive impact in terms of how the demands has been anticipated. Not only that, any changes in the supply chain or any market dynamics can have a adverse impact in terms of how you anticipate those demands. So this has been a one big challenge which many of the companies do face, and they always look forward to some solutions surrounding that. Now, when you have that unpredictable demand, which is then being added with the supplier inconsistency, that makes it a kind of a situation which is not very, you know, not a great situation to be in for a supply chain manager. Now, again, there could be a lot of different instances like an operational uncertainty, any external disruptions, any volatile market conditions. So it can add a lot of strenuous pressure on your supply chain because you always wanted to peg those demand with the consistent supply. And when it doesn't happen, that's where you really feel the pinch. Now, as you expand your business, uh, there is always a great demand to expand your warehouses. Yeah, so you probably go to different locations, different market base. You probably set up those facilities. Not only that, you also, you know, lay out those facilities with a different bin location, different aisles, different racks. So you have a huge warehouse to manage, and now you are adding multiple locations. Why do you add those multiple locations? Just in order to serve the customer quickly. Yeah, and that can add a lot of efforts, a lot of hassles in terms of managing those warehouses and also the inventory inside those warehouses. Yeah. If you look at any inventory supply for that matter, or how do you want to keep a track of this inventory, be it a batch, serial, or a lot traceability, it is kind of a nightmare situation where you have multiple warehouse locations, and it is being managed by different set of people there. Everyone also talks about the suboptimal fulfillment process. Now, again, this is again going back to the buying pattern of the customer because some of the wholesale channels are receiving the orders from EDI. Some of you might be receiving the orders from Amazon, and you still have those traditional customers, who are your end customers who place those orders different way. Now, in order to manage those different fulfillment process, it itself is a challenge. And now when you add this fulfillment process with the shipping integration, like because I'm sure many of the companies nowadays work with the DHL, FedEx, or USPS. Now, in order to fulfill those orders, you need to use those shipping option for order fulfillment. based on the load size, the customer destination, and the shipping commitments. Whether it's a truckload, pallet load, or container, it makes it real difficult for the supply chain manager to dynamically manage his operation of fulfillment. So these are some of the very top kind of challenges, which we always come across from our customers. And what exactly you are looking at? What is the kind of solution? So let's look at what some of the business process owners or the company look for from any solution which can maximize their operational efficiency. Now, I'm sure as a business owner, you always look at a return on investment, and you don't want to spend millions of dollars to have a solution like this. So the solution has to be cost effective and it is easy to use. It should also always give you the real-time access. It should also allow some sort of an automation so that it reduces downtime and you can adopt some of the best practices of the industry. System should also allow you or provide you with some of the tools, intelligent tools, so that it drives your planning in terms of what is that you procure and what is that you produced over the period of time. And last but not the least, it should have a business intelligence or the reporting capabilities built inside your ERP solution. That includes some of the dashboards or the KPIs so that you are able to see the glance of what is happening inside your business operation and take those strategical decisions. Now, before I get into the solution demonstration, I obviously wanted to take you through what SAP Business One is all about. So what you're looking at right now is not a London Tube Metro map. It is actually SAP Business One Process Metro map. It's a comprehensively integrated and a fully global applications, which is available with 50 localizations and 28 different language options. When I say 50 localization means, country specific taxation and the statutory and the compliance are covered through SAP Business One. This diagram talks about the entire ERP solution in nutshell. On your left-hand side, what you see is the leads or an opportunity management. So there is a CRM embedded inside an ERP solutions. So once a lead or a prospect converts into a customer, you have this entire quote to cash cycle. And the exact mirror image of the account receivable is the account payable cycle, which we call as a purchase, like a procure to pay cycle. You always get the production and the inventory management built in inside the ERP solution that include the MRP. And you will notice the red line cut across all the different modules. This is nothing but the heart of our solution, which is financials management. As part of the CRM, you'll always get the service management. So anything to do with the after sales service, be it an equipment card, service contracts, billing with the customer, any ticket generation system, they are all covered as part of this ERP solutions. Now, what you're looking at right now is SAP Business One, an application process metro map for some of the users who are working in the back office. So the financial managers or the accountants or the CEOs, the CFOs or the planners. So this is what the solution is for them. But how about people running on the shop floor, people running on the warehouse? Now, as you grow, you have multiple locations and you got huge team out there in your warehouses to manage your receiving process, any inventory movement process, or even for that matter, shipping. You need to give them some handheld devices or remote devices where you have some native application running on those devices so that they should be able to capture those information in real time. And that is where the YS's WMS, which is a warehouse management solution, will come in, which can revolutionize your receiving, transform your tracking, and streamline your shipping. Now, without wasting any of your further time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch my screen and I'm going to share another screen here. And if you can quickly confirm, Tiffany, if you can see the white square boxes and the blue background on it.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you very much. So what you're seeing right now is the home cockpit of a manager. So when I log into SAP Business One, I get to see the cockpit view. And depending upon the different roles or different authorization, you should be able to create different users and assign the different roles and what in terms of the cockpit or in terms of the modules they will be able to access. You can control everything. Now, right now I'm a financial manager and this is my cockpit, and that's the reason you get to see some of the KPIs and some of the dashboards or some of the bar graphs. We call that as the dashboards, including my financial process. Now, if you are an inventory manager or a warehouse manager, I can create role specific cockpit view. So, what I have done, sorry about that. It's gonna reload the page. All right. So what I've done, I created some of the templates. Uh, what it will do, again, depending upon your role, like be a finance manager, sales manager, purchase, or an inventory manager, I can prepare various templates and I can broadcast it either at a company wide or maybe a department specific cockpit view. So with one click, it has changed the entire layout to my inventory or a warehouse manager cockpit view, where you get to see the complete different set of KPIs like an inventory, outbound inventory, inbound inventory value. There are some of the line graphs or the bar graphs pertaining to inventory or a warehouse manager. Not only that, I can actually set up my entire workbench of my inventory management process. All right. So this is available absolutely out of the box. However, this is not the topic we want to touch base. So, the very first topic which I really started this presentation is to how to tackle the challenge of unpredictable demand. Now, in order to solve this demand or unpredictable demand or how to anticipate those demand, we have the solution that's called an MRP, which is called a material requisition planning. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and look at the MRP as a module. So now when you run your business, any purchase orders or any orders coming in from your customer, they are the confirmed demand into your system. Yeah, and sometime you also prepare a forecast into the system, or probably you manage some of the forecast into an Excel sheet. Yeah, sometimes there are a lot of customers like Walmart or Target. They actually provide you all those details in maybe an EDI form or maybe an Excel sheet, and then you prepare the forecast sheets. Yeah. So if that is the business case, what you can do, you can use this forecast as a form, which is pretty much like a table form. So I can decide what is the title of the forecast and the range, like in terms of the month. So from the July, I want to create a forecast till end of this year. I can prepare a monthly, weekly, or a daily forecast. I can list down all my items by warehouse and by each and every month, how much I'm planning to sell. So if you're receiving those Excel sheets or EDI forms, what you can do, or CSV format, you can actually import this, information in this desired format. So this is a simple way to create a forecast. We can also custom made it for a customer specific forecast if that is what you wish to. So right now this is an item specific forecast over the period of month. Now, this is a manual way to prepare it. But how about we give you those intelligent tool, which are built in inside the solution. We have got this intelligent forecast. So let me quickly go through the intelligent forecast very quickly. So we have this form available now. It is very interactive, by the way. What you can do, you can actually prepare, your forecast based upon item. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly, if I know the code, I can write down the code and it will populate the details. I can create for one item. I can create for multiple items. There is a lookup available to select those item list. I can prepare for item or by item group. So if you want to prepare a forecast for item group like a raw material, finished goods, or maybe components, so there are different item groups available to prepare your forecast on. The next option, it is asking me to prepare a forecast based upon the historical informations. Yeah. So do you want to capture or factor in the historical sales order, historical deliveries, or historical AR invoices? By the way, there are built-in algorithms available. So these are like a statistical model, which will actually look at your past trends, the patterns, and based upon the historical transactions, it will suggest you, what is that you can plan to sell over the period of time. So the very first method is called TESM, which is called triple exponential smoothing. And the next one is LRDTSA, which is called linear regression with damped trend and seasonal adjust. Now, these are built-in algorithm. So you don't have to create anything, from the scratch. If you want to select and run based upon various algorithm, you can choose that, or you can let the system choose any statistical model while you run the forecast. So just click here, based upon all the historical sales order, show me what I can probably sell over the period of time. So there you go. So system has now generated this recommendation for you in terms of this line. So can you see June, July, August, September, so on and so forth till December? These are the planned quantities you can probably forecast for. You also get this nice little bar graph here. So anything in the blue color is your past data, and anything in the orange shaded color is your forecasted data. Now, if you want, you can actually simulate this data. So by just drag and drop, and you want to adjust some of the quantities here of the past record, and now based upon the adjustment you make on or simulate the data, it will actually make the changes to the forecasted data as well. Okay, so it's by the way, it's very interactive and intuitive. So no manual intervention, no user entries, just drag and drop, prepare your forecast. If you're happy with the numbers, what you can do, just click save and close. And once you do that, it actually fed the information onto the same table. All right. So that's a quick way to look at, how you create those intelligent forecasts. Now, once you set this up so rightly, then your job to plan in terms of what is that you need to procure and what is that you need to produce become much easy. Yeah. There's a nice little of automation going on with regards to how you plan to procure and to produce. Now, once you prepare the forecast, what I'm going to quickly show you is the MRP wizard. So this is nothing but a step-by-step guide. So I'll pick up the scenario. It is the same scenario for MRP 2025. So I'm going to quickly take you through explaining some of the high level information. So the very first thing is you need to choose the planning horizon. And when you are recommending something, what is that you want system to recommend you? Is it a production or a purchase type of an item? So I'll say yes, both. In the next screen, I'm going to select all the items. Again, this is a combination of, a trading item. That means, you buy and sell. And some of the items are kind of a make item. That means you are making it out of the bill of material structure. Okay, so I have a combination of both. So I selected all those items. You can run it for item groups or by individual items. In the next screen, again, do you want to factor in the entire company warehouse details, or do you just want to run the MRP only for the specific warehouses? So I'm going to run it company wide by selecting the company. And now in this final screen, what it's actually asking you to do is, do you want to factor in, while you run those MRP, do you want to factor in all the open purchase order, which are already been released to the vendor? Any sales order which are already been committed by the customer for the future date deliveries? Any blanket agreements out there in terms of this, any contracts you have with the vendors, any contracts with the customer, and any quantities you have committed with them over the period of time? Yeah, it should factor in all these details. It should factor in all the details across the warehouses, like what is the minimum, the maximum quantity you want to maintain, and you really want to consume the forecast. So I say, yes, I want to consume the forecast, which I have just created. And let me show you, let me prepare a recommendation for you. So when you run this, it actually prepare nice little report for you, which is again very interactive. And I can expand this view so that you get to see all this information. Let me collapse that. By the way, what you see here is I have created a forecast only for 5 items. And if you notice, it has actually listed down 14 items. Why does it do that? Because one of the item is a make type of an item. That means you need to produce it. Now, in order to produce and then ship it to the customer, before you do that, you need to procure and you need to plan to procure all those raw materials. And that's the reason it has actually listed down all the raw materials which are required in order to produce this item. Okay, so system is smart enough to understand. And anything which is like buy and sell, you get to see only one line here. When I expand it, what you get to see here is for each and every item, what is my initial inventory? What is the demand coming in? What is the supply? And what could be the final inventory every day? Okay, now if I click on any of those tabs here, it shows you like, this production order. It's basically a pegging information against that sales order. So if you look at the demand, So there are 16 quantities which has been demanded in that specific day. Why? Because there were 4 different sales orders being captured by the salespeople. If you look at maybe this date, 1st of August, if you double click on it, it now shows you that this demand is coming from the forecast. Okay. So again, there are built-in algorithms to take care sales order being consumed by forecast or vice versa. Okay. So system does take care of all those calculations and then it will draw out a recommendation for you. Now, this is my recommendation tab where you get to see all the different purchase orders being recommended, any production orders. So that means what is that you need to plan to make? What is that you need to plan to buy? Not only in terms of the quantity, but in terms of the dates, because there is a lead time to procure certain item or to make certain items. So if you want to deliver it by 1st of October, you'd probably need to start your production by 30th maximum. Yeah. Otherwise, you will not be able to deliver those items. So it will factor in the lead time to produce or to procure, and then it will tell you when you need to release those purchase orders or the production orders. Once you're happy with this analysis, once the MRP has generated this report, what you can do, you can save the recommendation for the future use, or maybe what you can do, you can finish it and send out this recommendation to your planner. So for a planner, you got this order recommendation screen. Okay. And from here, they will execute those transactions. So now I get to see all this production order and the purchase order, which were generated by an MRP. Now, as a planner, I will decide which one I need to release. Say for an example, I want to release this purchase order and I can just, select the line so that it highlights it for me. It is suggesting 23.42 as a quantity to be very precise. Now, if I want to override this information, as long as I have the right, I can do that. So I'll say instead of 23, I just need 20. Okay, that's it. There are sometimes, there are certain items you buy it from a default vendor. So if you selected a default vendor, it will show up here. Otherwise, as a planner, you have an option to choose from which vendor you want to buy this item. Okay, so I'll pick up the item, and if I know the price, the indicative price, I can put the indicative price. Once I have updated the details, I'm going to release this purchase order and off it goes. All right, so with the forecast, I managed to capture, all my unpredictable forecast in a more organized manner. And now with an MRP, I have created what is that I need to plan to procure and what is that I need to plan to produce. So once the procurement order is out, what I can do is, I can go back to my purchasing account payable. I'll look at my purchase order and there you go. So this is coming in from MRP. So you see the remarks here for the same vendor, which is Cosmos Limited, and the item, the number of quantities and the unit price and so on and so forth. So again, nice little automations. This is such a powerful tool. Believe me, many of our customers are super happy using this because it's a kind of an intelligence and an automation available, which will ensure that you do not overstock and you do not understock. You always run the inventory at an optimum level. And I have seen many of my customer has got this absolute prime KPI to maintain the inventory. So this can really solve the problem. All right, quick look on the vendor side. So this is my vendor record again, which actually captures all this information pertaining to the vendor. You get to see all those different multiple addresses, like a pay to, ship to addresses. What are the different payment terms you want to set up? So you can maintain all those, payment terms. What is the cash, net 30, net 50, net 60, 50% advance, 50% after delivery. Any price list. This is my average weighted price list with this specific vendor. Okay, any credit limit or any commitment limit. Any payment term, like what is the default payment method with this vendor? What is the house bank from where you are making this payment? So you can make all those setups. The interesting part here is the attachments. Now, when you onboard any of the vendor, you should be able to, always gather various documents like, some FDA certificate or certificate of compliance. So with attachment, you should be able to capture all those documents coming in from the vendor or a supplier so that, you always keep a track in terms of what are those important certificates which are expiring, any documents which are missing as part of the onboarding process. So you always have a control in terms of, what are the different documents being exchanged, with that specific vendor as well. So coming back to my purchase order, so the purchase order is here. It is already gone to the vendor. The vendor has received now this purchase order, and it's time that you are now receiving the goods from the supplier. So what I'm gonna do as a warehouse manager or as a warehouse administrator, I'm going to log into another station. And what you see right now is the Agility Mobile, which is our YSS WMS solution. Now, as a warehouse manager or as an operator, this is the handheld device, which I'll get it. And you get to see a lot of different options. Like, if you're a distribution type of a user, you get to see any good receipts or good issues, any inventory transfer you need to do, anything which you receive against the purchase order, anything which you're shipping against that sales order. So you should be able to do a lot of things here. Even as a production manager or a production coordinator, I should be able to issue anything against the production and also receipt against the production. So let's look at, the good receipts against the purchase order, because the PO was already released and the goods are already at your doorsteps. So what I'm going to do, the very first thing is clearly I'm going to pick up the order number. So if I look up the order list, so these are all the different open orders. 47 is the one. That's right. By the way, this entire application is a scanner-friendly app. So when you receive those goods, and if there are any barcodes or RFID codes, you can just scan them. So I just scan the item code, and there you go. I'm using the barcode scanner right now to scan some of the codes which I have printed for the demonstration. But literally, you can print, you can just scan while you do this receiving process. So I scan the item code. It has pre-populated all the details, including the default bin where I need to put this in. I can also enter the batch details. So I'll say maybe for today's date, 2407. Just for my reference, I put down this batch number. If you need the auto generation of the batch, we can also automate this process, by the way. Okay, and I'll say, let's receive all this 20 as a quantity. So scan. You're done with this transaction. If you want to view this, you have this nice little view option. And before you post it, you can view, edit, or delete some of the entries, and then off it goes. So while you receive this item, you always have an option to print the barcode. So for that matter, I can print this. This is just an example of a barcode which has been generated out of the box. So it captures the details of the item which you have received in terms of the quantity, warehouse, and when it is received. So you can print this out right here from your handheld device, put it on the box, and off it goes to a specific bin location inside your warehouse. By the way, this is a very complex operation. We are making it simple. Now, just for an example, I have received this item and now I want to put this away. So there is another option here called a put away. So what I will do again, I will pick up the same item. I'll say, okay, scan 10045. There you go. It has actually pre-populated all these details again. Now I need to pick up the batch which I just received it against the purchase order. I can again scan the bin location, or I can pick it up from all the different bin location I have in the system, and off it goes. So scan. And now you have put this away to a different bin location inside your warehouse. So now let's look at what happened to SAP Business One, because as a manager, I still want to see, or I still want to remain in control. So against this purchase order, if I refresh this, the next document which is created is called Good Receipt PO inside Business One, seamless and in real time. Now on this Good Receipt PO, if you look at the accounting details, you will now see it has not only updated the inventory, but it has also created a financial general entry in real time. So your raw materials been debited and your good received, which are not invoiced, has been credited. If you want to find out exactly the batch details or where it is staying right now, so just right click and now you'll be able to see this item is received. There you go. Exactly the same batch which I have just entered through that handheld device. It's available inside SAP Business One. And now you know exactly which location this inventory is lying in terms of the number of quantities. So you get to see this, kind of a traceability report, with every transactions for that matter. All right. Now, similarly, the way we have done it, the put away, let's look at, what happened to that specific transaction. So that's a normal inventory transfer. So if I come back to the inventory as a module, inventory transactions, I'll pick up the inventory transfer document and let's see, what happened to this. So there you go. So it has actually created an inventory transfer document in real time. And now if I look at the batch number and transaction report, you get to see the item has been moved from receiving to this A01 R01 bin location. Okay, it's simple, ease of use, and absolutely real time. All right, so let me just come back because through an MRP we release the purchase order. Similarly, you can release the production order. So let's look at one of the example of a production order here. So you get to see the production order. This is my production order. So this has been released through an MRP again, and this is the final finished good or the semi-finished good which you are producing it. So when you have this production order out there, again, as a warehouse manager, what you can do, you can go back to the production module, look at the production issue. What is that you need to issue? So again, I can do is pick up the production order number, which is 18 in that case. And again, I'm going to scan the item which I'm issuing. So it's the same item 1005, scan it, click. It pre-populate all the details. It will tell you exactly the number of quantity. It is 0.79 from which bin location you want to issue this out, which batch. Again, you can scan, and all those details will be populated. Okay, so I say 0.79. So beat decimals or, beat any value, system will manage those scenarios. Again, while you issue it, if you want to print anything, you can always print this. I don't want to print it right now, but when I post this or when I issue it for the production, again, you can come back to the production order. You'll now notice the issued column has been updated with 0.79. That means this quantity has been issued out for this specific item. Not only that, if you look at the relationship map, you will see the issue for production has been done, and it has also created the financial journal entry. Raw material has been credited and now work in progress has been debited. So as and when you move from one transaction to another transaction in your workshop or in your shop floor, all these details are seamlessly captured and they are all been auditable. Okay, so I come back, to maybe one more process, because assuming that you have completed this entire production and now it is time, you have actually moved it away to maybe the shipping location or maybe a staging locations, and there is a sales order against which you need to fulfill that sales order with that finished good delivery. So let's look at how we can accomplish that process. So we have got the sales order here. Okay, so this is a sales order going out for a Veritas Corporation. The same quantity, the finished good which we have created with an NDC number, which is something available for any USA or UK, Canadian customers, which is a national drug code. The number of quantities and the unit price which you have it on the sales order. All right. So I have the sales order being captured. That means there was a purchase order coming in against which I created a sales order into the system. And I have also created the pick list. So if I quickly look at so I'm going to skip all this process because, we can always capture it in a different stage. What I really wanted to show you as a warehouse manager, what are the different activities you can do through those handheld devices. Okay, so I have already created the pick list. Let me quickly show you. This is my pick list number 58. So when you generate that pick list through an SAP Business One, again, what I'll do, I'll come back to the screen, my handheld device. And it's time that, I need to probably pick it to the carton. Maybe I need to put it into the box. Yeah. So picking has been, the pick list has been assigned to the picker, but as a picker, I still need to pick it from that bin location and put it inside that carton or a box. Yeah. So when I'm doing this, I click on this option called pick to carton. All right. Now in this screen, what I'll do is, I'll obviously look up the picking number, which has been allocated to me, which is 58. That's right. Against which sales order you're picking it. So obviously there is a 1-to-1 mapping. So that's a by default option to select that 92 as an order. Now, while I'm picking this item, I can scan. Yeah. So again, scan through the barcode reader. It pre-populate the details. I can also scan the bin location, by the way, from where I'm picking it up. So this is my bin location from where I'm getting this item. So scan, or maybe scan the batch. pick up the quantity, and that's it. So I have now picked this item from that specific bin location and prepared my carton. Now, when I'm picking it or packing this up, it's time to generate, certain different labels because I want to make those boxes ready for my shipping process. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so it can actually generate those box labels and actually put it onto the carton as well. Now, once the carton has been prepared, what I will do there is because clearly the next process step is to put this away into a specific bin location. So that maybe I put it in a staging bin location or probably a shipping bin location. From there, I initiate the delivery. Now, in order to accomplish that task, YSys offer you this YSys Agility Explorer. Now, this is again a desktop-based application because mostly, this is done from the back office people when it is in the staging area. So let me show you one quick example to how to create those fulfillments against those, cartons which are already been picked. Okay, so I click on the fulfillment manager. Now, by the way, anything what I have done with that, handheld device application, you can probably do the same. You can create those pallets, you can create your cartons, you can add various items inside your cartons, and then carton goes inside the pallet. So you can create multiple conversions, multiple level of packaging while you prepare those fulfillment manager. Since I have already created a carton, what I can do, I can actually pick it up that carton number, which is 21, which is against the sales order 92. So it has actually pre-populated the information for me because the carton is already been prepared. Yeah. So there you go. So this is my carton 034. This is the item with the descriptions, the quantity against this order number, and what is the packaging number it has on that box. So it pre-populate all the details, including, where are you shipping this to? Yeah, which packed item, which bin you have picked this item. So it pre-populates all the details. Yeah. So again, seamless with 100% accuracy. Now, once you are happy with all this, fulfillment creation, now it's time that I'm gonna decide whether I'm going to use the TL, LTL services, UPS, FedEx, or USPS services. So I click on the FedEx. So it's gonna now, connect me to FedEx interface. So this is just an example of a FedEx where the carrier has been selected. You can still choose what is the kind of service you need. As long as you have rights, you can always decide the destination. It would be New Jersey. If I know the contact details of a customer, I can update those details. If there is a length, width, and height criteria being maintained inside SAP Business One, it will pre-populate the details. Right now, I'm just going to use the fake number, which is 100 as a weight. And once you're happy with all those details, just click on, ship. And what it will do, it will go to actual FedEx website, create the tracking details, send out the email notification if that is what you wish to, and it can also generate those FedEx labels for you, which you can again print it and put it outside the box. So this is just an example of a label generated out of the FedEx website, which talks about the customer detail, where it is going, with the tracking details. So a customer will be able to receive these details via an email, and they can actually keep a track of all those movement happening for that specific box. Now, as and when you complete this entire fulfillment process, what will happen if I go back to the sales order inside SAP Business One, look at what happened to these transactions. So it has actually created a delivery document. So this is my delivery document inside SAP Business One. So anything what I have done as a warehouse coordinator, I still have a seamless visibility with regards to as a back office user. And when the delivery is done, again, you can print a lot of other documents apart from the FedEx label. You can send out those, advanced shipment note by just emailing this out. So you can actually email this entire delivery document, including the bill of lading, including the gate passes or any other document you want to print as part of the solution. And once you are done with this, it's time for the finance manager to raise an AR invoice. So click on AR invoice and it will copy over the entire information to the AR invoice as a document. And as a finance manager, all you need to do is review this. Is it hitting the right journal entries? And if yes, you just enter this document. So when you're done with the AR invoice, you'll always get to see the general remark being created. And this is my general remark wherein the customer has been debited and my tax revenue, the revenues or any taxes or the freight are being credited. Okay. So with our solution with SAP Business One and YSAs, which are seamlessly integrated, it's not only about capturing the information, it's also about making decisions when you enter those transactions. So this is one of the relationship map. It talks about, how are you moving from one transaction to another transactions. All right. So with that, I think so this is what I probably wanted to talk about today, the receiving, the tracking, and the shipping process. Uh, so with the powerful intelligent forecast and MRP, we can really help you manage your, stockouts and excess inventory kind of a situation so that you always run at an optimum inventory level because it's going to streamline your entire procurement process. It's going to streamline your entire production process. It can bring serious amount of efficiency in your warehouse, including, your real-time inventory tracking, your batch and the serial traceability so that I know, in USA, the FDA and in probably in Europe, the European Union needs that compliances in terms of, from the source to the customer. Are you able to keep a track or are you able to trace these things? So everything is being covered with SAP Business One. We call there's a batch or a serial or a lot genealogy, sorry, in terms of what goes in to make what, and you will be able to establish the entire traceability as well. And with our YSS agility, the entire picking, packing, and fulfilling process is also seamless, including the FedEx, DHL, or USPS integration. So that's all I have to show you and demonstrate to you. I hope it makes sense. We're still here and we got a couple of minutes. So we can probably utilize that time for some of the questions from the audience. Tiffany, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pratik. That was wonderful. I do have a couple questions here that have popped up in the chat.
Yeah, fire it away.
So the first question is, can WMS manage reverse logistics?
Oh yeah, reverse logistics. Oh yes, absolutely. WMS can handle the reverse logistics. In fact, because of the time constraint, I could not show everything which is available inside WMS, but let me give you a quick glance. So I come back to my Agility mobile application. Can you see there is a goods return here? So for an example, you have received an item against the purchase order and it as part of your best practice, it needs to go through the QC operation. And in the QC, you realize it did not hit those recommended readings or the observation and you need to submit it back. So you can trigger the goods return right here from the Agility mobile. And anything to do with the sales. For an example, you have done the delivery against the sales order and the customer has raised an objection and now you need to receive those goods back to your warehouse. We have the sales return. So the entire reverse logistic process is also built in and it's been captured quite nicely within WMS solution.
Okay, thank you, Pratik.
That does answer the question. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
The next question I have is on the shipping side, will it be able to generate the advanced shipment note for customers?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So again, when I was actually showing you the agility solution, it actually not only generate the barcode, but there is also an option to send out the email notification to the customer. So when you click on that option, it sends out the email to the customer as an advanced shipment note, and with a link, they can actually click on it, and it goes to the FedEx or USPS website to keep a track of this entire package. So that's number one. I mean, there is also another way to do it. You can actually come back to SAP Business One, and there is a email option available. If you want, we can also integrate with Outlook, which allows even the backend delivery manager to send out that email notification to the customer. So there are different ways to manage this situation. So answer is yes.
Okay, thank you for that. And the final question I have here is, can this system be customized to fit our specific workflows and reporting needs?
Yeah, very good question. I mean, we hate to use this word called customization because with SAP Business One and with YSys, it's more to do with the configuration. So with SAP Business One and even with YSys, they are the one of the very flexible solution out there in the market, which allows us as a consultant to make a tailor fit for your best practices. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of flexibility with regards to accommodating your workflows and the best practices which your business can operate with.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pratik, for answering those questions. And again, thank you everyone for taking some time to spend with us today. Hope everyone found a little value in what Pratik had to show today. If you have any questions or needs in the future, of course, on your screen is contact information. You can reach out to any of us directly if you have any needs or questions moving forward. And again, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you have a great rest of your day or rest of your evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Thanks, everyone.